It is 10:47 on a Tuesday night. You have been performing all day, performing patience in a meeting that could have been an email, performing interest in a conversation you stopped caring about 3 hours ago. You walk through the front door and your shoulders are still up near your ears, your jaw still clenched around words you swallowed at lunch. You drop your bag, you don't even turn the lights on yet, and then you feel it. A warm, deliberate weight settles onto your knee. Your dog has crossed the entire room in silence, pressed the side of their head against your leg, and gone completely still. No tail wag, no whine, no toy in their mouth, just pressure, and quiet, and the faint heat of their skull against your thigh. You reach down and scratch behind their ear. Without thinking nice, you murmur, "Good dog." You assume they want dinner, maybe a walk. Maybe they just missed you and this is the clingy thing they do. You have been reading this moment wrong for years. That head on your knee is not affection the way you understand affection. It is not neediness. It is not even a greeting. What your dog just did is one of the oldest rituals in canine biology, and it is aimed at something far more specific than your attention. Their cheeks, muzzle, and the skin behind their ears carry scent glands that most owners never think about. When they press their head into you, they are not claiming you. They are weaving your scent into theirs. In wolf families, every member of the same unit carries a shared chemical signature. The pack does not just travel. Together it smells like one body. Your dog standing in your dark hallway at nearly 11 at night is doing the same thing. They are not asking to be fed. They are rebuilding the one bond that tells their nervous system that the world is still safe. They are pressing their identity into yours and carrying yours back on their fur. And the part that should stop you mid-step is this. After a minute or two of that quiet lean, watch them walk away. Their gait loosens. Their breathing slows. They just replenish something you did not know was running low. But scent is only the surface of what is happening in that stillness, because their ear pressed flat against your body is picking up something you cannot fake and they cannot ignore. Now drop 12 inches off the ground and step inside a skull built entirely for surveillance. Your dog is running a threat assessment, and the equipment involved makes military grade. Sensors look like toys from a cereal box, that ear pressed flat against your knee is not resting. It is conducting an audit. A canine ear canal funnels sound with enough precision to isolate your heartbeat from across a quiet room. Not your voice, not your words, your heartbeat. The rhythm your dog memorized during its first week in your home. A resting rate around 70 beats per minute means the pack is safe. 85 and climbing means something has shifted. Your dog does not need you to cry or slam a door. The data is already in, and the nose is doing something even stranger, while that head leans against your leg. The vomeronasal organ tucked behind the front teeth is sampling the air directly off your skin. Cortisol, adrenaline, the faint chemical residue of a sympathetic nervous system that has been locked in overdrive since 9 in the morning. To your dog, stress is not a concept. It is a scent cloud with a specific molecular weight, and right now you are saturated in it. So when your dog crosses the room on a Tuesday night you thought was ordinary and lowers its skull onto your thigh, that is not affection requesting a response. That is a biological receiver locking onto a signal you did not know you were broadcasting. The racing pulse, the shallow breath caught high in your chest. The cortisol still circulating from a day spent performing composure. You never actually felt your body has been transmitting all of it. And the organism pressed against you has been reading the feed since you walked through the door. This is where it gets interesting, because the monitoring is only half the operation. Something else is happening inside that warm, steady weight against your leg. Something measurable, something that your own nervous system is already beginning to respond to, whether you notice it or not. Here is the thing nobody wants to hear. That warm pressure on your thigh is not love, not yet. First, it is a mechanical event inside your vagus nerve. The longest cranial nerve in your body runs from your brainstem, down through your chest and into your gut, and it has a peculiar sensitivity to sustained, low-grade pressure against the skin. When 7 pounds of skull settles onto your leg and stays there, the nerve fires a parasympathetic signal that begins pulling your heart rate down within 90 seconds. Your hypothalamus receives the memo. The HPA axis, that tight little feedback loop between your hypothalamus, your pituitary gland, and your adrenal cortex, starts easing off the cortisol drip it has been running. Since you sat in traffic 2 hours ago, you did not decide to relax. Your body was told to. Now here is where it stops being about you. Your dog's ear pressed flat against your body is not resting. It is reading canine. Auditory systems can detect shifts in human respiratory rate and cardiac rhythm through direct tissue contact. Researchers documented this in heart rate variability synchronization studies, and the data is unsentimental. Within 3 to 5 minutes of sustained physical contact, the dog's cardiac rhythm begins to mirror yours, not because they feel your emotions, because their Proprioceptive system is receiving continuous mechanical feedback from your body and adjusting accordingly. Two nervous systems locked into the same oscillation, not through sentiment, but through pressure, vibration, and time. This is coregulation, and it is ancient. Wolves sleeping in a den pile were not being affectionate. They were running a distributed surveillance network. Each body registered the breathing, the muscle tension, the micro movements of every other body in the heap. One animal startles every animal knows. Your dog inherited that architecture intact. The head on your knee is a sentry post, wired into your autonomic nervous system, and the social buffering effect it produces is measurable. Your cortisol drops, your respiratory rate lengthens. The rumination loop that has been chewing on your prefrontal cortex since morning begins to lose its grip. Not because you decided to let go, but because a second nervous system entered the circuit and changed the frequency. So no, your dog is not cuddling you. They are plugging into you, and somewhere beneath your conscious awareness, your body is already beginning to calibrate itself to theirs. There's a moment that hits you right now somewhere between your ribs and your throat. You're thinking about every single time your dog pressed their head into your leg and you barely looked down. You were on your phone. You were mid-conversation. You were pulling your keys out of your pocket and already thinking about the next errand. And now that you know what that pressure actually meant, a part of you wants to feel terrible about it. Stop. That guilt you are sitting with right now is built on a false premise. You did not ignore a hug because you were careless. You missed it because your species does not speak. In pressure, humans hug with arms. We squeeze, we pull inward. That is the only template your nervous system was ever given for physical affection. And your dog does not have access to that template. They cannot squeeze, they cannot wrap. The most their body can offer is to press, to lean, to stay. And your body was never taught to read that as an embrace. Because in every other context of your life, someone leaning dead weight against your knee is not a declaration of anything. This is not a failure of love, it is a failure of translation too. Perfectly functional emotional systems running incompatible software. Your cortex processes affection through reciprocal gesture, through eye contact, and spoken words and arms that close a loop. Your dog's limbic system processes it through scent transfer, through the slow release of oxytocin triggered by sustained body contact, through the quiet act of placing the most vulnerable part of their body against yours and choosing not to move. Neither system is broken, they just never learned each other's alphabet. And here is the part that should dissolve every ounce of shame. Sitting in your chest right now, your dog never once interpreted your distraction as rejection. Their vomeronasal organ was reading your skin the entire time, your heart rate, your cortisol signature, the micro shifts in your breathing. They knew you were stressed, they knew you were busy. They pressed their head against you anyway, not because they needed you to respond, but because the contact itself was the complete sentence. The hug did not require your awareness to work. Two nervous systems were already coregulating beneath the surface of your attention, beneath the noise of your day, beneath every story you are now telling yourself about not being enough. You were always enough, you just didn't know you were already answering in a language you never learned to hear. So here's what you do with everything you just learned. You do not sign up for a course, you do not buy a book, you do not reorganize your evening routine or set a reminder on your phone. You do the smallest thing a human body can do in the presence of another living creature. Tonight, when your dog walks over and settles near you, you sit down on the floor. That is it, not cross-legged, not in any particular posture, just lower yourself to their level and stay there for 2 or 3 minutes. No phone in your hand, no voice, no reaching out to pet them. Just your body on the ground, existing in the same square of space. What happens next is not dramatic, it is almost invisible, but your nervous system will register it before your mind does. Your breathing will lengthen by a beat or two. Your shoulders will drop a centimeter you didn't know they were holding. Somewhere behind your sternum, the low hum of the day, the emails, the performance, the endless loop of replaying. Conversations will stutter and go quiet. Not because you decided to relax, because your dog's respiratory rhythm is slower than yours. And when you sit at their level, your body begins to match it. Coregulation does not require effort. It requires proximity and stillness. The vagus nerve does the rest, and your dog will notice there may be a slow exhale through the nose, a shift of weight so their shoulder presses into your knee. Maybe they rest their chin on your thigh and hold it there, not asking, not performing, just arriving. That small pressure against your leg is their version of the same sentence. Your nervous system is writing in real time. I am here. The day is over. This is the only place that matters. You won't feel transformed. You'll feel something much more honest than that. You will feel like you stopped. And for the first time since morning, nothing needed to happen next. If this kind of pet interaction brings you back into your body, that is not weakness. It is your nervous system recognizing a form of connection that lets it recover without performing. Try it once, just tonight. Sit on the floor beside them for 2 minutes with nothing in your hands, then come back here and tell me what you noticed. Not what your dog did.